Our organization is called the Committee of 100 for Economic Development, and that is our focus. We do those things. We band together with business leaders from around the state, civic leaders, and leaders from our educational institutions, and we work on trying to develop, support economic development anywhere we can find it, thinking that that will lead to a better quality of life for all of our people.
The Committee of 100 is a critical partner for LED and our state economic development efforts. They've supported us with some important policy initiatives that we've had statewide. They've been involved in our business expansion and retention group efforts. They've also been a support of our business recruitment efforts as well. So it's really been an important support organization for LED.
I think the potential of the Committee of 100 is to grow our membership, which grows our constituents and our power to influence the decision makers in our state that will make positive decisions that will grow our state and create jobs.
Louisiana has made a tremendous amount of progress in the last 3.5 years. Chief Executive Magazine, Site Selection Magazine, Polina Corporate Real Estate, all have published rankings that indicate Louisiana is the most improved state for business in the country. LED itself, our state economic development agency, was ranked #1 in the country just a few weeks ago. Our state workforce training program was also ranked #1 in the country last year. So we've really got a lot of momentum as a state finally moving up those rankings of economic development and business climate. Our discussion today is really all about what do we need to do to keep it going.
This is a list that I could read, and I'm not going to, so I'm just going to keep it folded. But it's all the statistics of the high rankings the state has received under the governor's administration and with Secretary Morey. Lists that maybe when I was a child in the 70s, we were on these lists in the top 10. But in the last 2 to 3 years, there really is an economic renaissance going on in the state, notwithstanding some of what we've listened to this morning with the difficulties with the budget. We've not mentioned much about the New Orleans region, and we moved the chair around the state, but I'll just tell you that to the extent these are all about the state, when you think about where New Orleans has been the last 30 years and then where it's been since Katrina, and really a lot of this credit goes to the governor and the secretary about being regional. It's really not been, I'll just say, our local administration, maybe until this most recent mayor. I'm going to express that opinion. But New Orleans is now being ranked in the top 10 and top 1 and 2 in America for job creation, entrepreneurship, all this sort of thing. And that's really all flowing from the state. So this environment they've been creating statewide, I think, is affecting. I just got back from speaking to the Shreveport-Bossier Committee 100, and what I saw in Shreveport, it's been doing well the last number of years, but the last several years, it's really incredible how well the Shreveport area is doing. So, Governor, we really want to thank you for that. We know there are a lot of difficult issues before the state today and for the next month, and we'd certainly enjoy hearing from you. Thank you.
Our #1 priority from day one has been job creation, retaining our children, bringing our families back. And it is absolutely true by a number of indicators. Louisiana has moved from the bottom to the top of several good lists. And I want to, first of all, thank the Committee of 100. Y'all have been great partners in this effort. I won't go through all the different ways, whether it's serving on the Innovation Council, whether it's particular individuals and businesses making planes available, whether it's helping with different presentations, both in international and national presentations. Y'all have been a terrific, terrific partner, and I want to thank you both under your chairman, your executive director, and every member here for your partnership with Stephen Morey and the Louisiana Department of Economic Development.
We've made a tremendous amount of progress. We're attracting more significant business development projects per capita than any other state, southern state at least. We've done that 3 years in a row. We were #3 in the country overall last year, #1 on a per capita basis. For the first time in a long, long time, Louisiana is in a position to compete for high-quality economic development projects on a level playing field with any other state in the U.S., and we are winning more often than not.
We always got to think there's a lot of potential because we've got to have a growth mind about ourselves, and I think the thing that we need to do is continue to work to try to stabilize our government, improve our education, work on the crime issue, and make things so that it is attractive to be here. We have a wonderful state with unbelievable natural resources. It's a great place to come and live. Our climate is good. Our resources are great. So we've got to keep on working on those things that make it so attractive that businesses want to come here or expand here and certainly not leave.
We're at a critical juncture for economic development. It's critical that we don't raise taxes on businesses or the families in Louisiana. It's critical that we don't roll back critical economic development programs. And it's also critical that we follow through with financial incentive commitments that we've made to companies to bring major projects to Louisiana.
I've been very active with the committee since I've been elected. I've been on a trip with them and visited with them a couple of different times, and they obviously play a very important role in representing Louisiana, as the people who run business and run industry in Louisiana have a keen interest in the quality of life in Louisiana. So I try and work with them as much as possible and join them whenever they invite me to be with them at an event.
I think the Committee of 100 is an awesome group. They have their pulse, because they are the pulse in many cases of business across this state from all corners, and they help bring about an understanding of the needs in their areas, both from their own business perspective and their community perspective. They do a terrific job.
These are the people in Louisiana who make things happen, the movers and shakers and the people who are concerned about Louisiana's future. And so having the opportunity to have them gather and address Louisiana's problems, learn about where we are and where we're going is a very important part of where we're going to be.
What I see is actually best exemplified by the participation today. We had broad representation here from all corners of the state, literally all business sectors. They're engaged in a direct dialogue with our legislative and executive branch leaders. Hearing from the governor, the speaker, and the secretary of economic development, enables us to hear directly from them their perspectives on what's happening in economic development, how we can help, and particularly as we go through the next 4 weeks, how we're able to better address the specific problems the state is faced as we try to balance our budget and proceed into the future.
What's increasingly important to a company like ours, AT&T, the fourth largest employer across the great state of Louisiana, is that we engage fully in organizations like the Committee of 100 who are committed to retaining jobs, cultivating jobs, recognizing the investment that companies like ours are making day in and day out across the state, particularly as we work as a business partner with the administration, with business leaders across the state to take 4G and LTE mobile broadband technology across to the consumers all across Louisiana, particularly in the rural areas. That economic development type of initiative is crucial to the retention of the 5,400 jobs we've got across the state.
There seems to be a real sense of pulling the oars in the same direction amongst our leadership. So we expect good things today, and we expect a very bright future for Louisiana.
You will see us have a great impact on growing business in the state of Louisiana. The other issue is regionalism. If you look at our executive committee and our membership from northwest to northeast Louisiana all the way down to the tip of the boot, we have a very diverse membership group geographically, and we also have an executive committee that is comprised of senior representatives from each of those regions.
Well, I'm encouraged that we have good participation. We have a high level of interest by people who can do things and will do things, and when we band together all of those energies and stay focused on the common good, then I think we'll always be successful.